Hello. Azerbaijan and Australia celebrate 25th anniversary of the diplomatic relations. The two sides are at the stage of identifying the ways of economic cooperation. How these relations develop and what kind of partnership the official Canberra and Baku are looking for, we will talk with Ambassador of Australia to Azerbaijan, Marc Innes-Brown. Mr. Ambassador, what assignments are set for the development of relations between Azerbaijan and Australia?
Well, thank you very much. This is the 25th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Australia and Azerbaijan, and we are working actively to expand the relationship. In recent years there's been a considerable growth in ties. A key foundation of that has been parliamentary links. There's a parliamentary friendship group in our parliament, and we've had an exchange of parliamentary visits, and earlier this year we had a visit by our Minister for Development, Senator Fierravanti-Wells, to mark the 25th anniversary. And more recently, just last month, we had a significant business delegation come here. So we're looking to expand the relationship, particularly in the commercial area. But we've also been cooperating closely in international fora, including supporting each other's candidacies. For instance, Azerbaijan supported Australia's UN Security Council bid a couple of years ago, and earlier this year supported our Human Rights Council bid. So we're cooperating multilateral level and also bilaterally.
Mr. Ambassador, it's interesting and it's very important to develop political relations between two sides. I'd like to touch upon more economic relations, and the main areas of cooperations could be agricultural, logistics, transportation, oil and gas, and tourism sector. Those fields were emphasized on the recent business forum. What kind of cooperation do you see in the mentioned fields?
Sure. Well, you have identified the key areas that we are looking at. Mining is also another area where Australia is a world leader and we have considerable expertise. But in agriculture, Australia is a very dry continent, and we are world leaders in developing techniques, agricultural technology that means that crops can be grown with very little water. So that's certainly something that we could work with Azerbaijan on, because some parts of your country are short of water. In the past, we've sold ferries to help your oil and gas sector. We have a significant potential in that area. And another area in agriculture that we're looking at, and something I'll be talking to the Deputy Minister of Economy about, is actually Australian assistance for your cotton industry. Mm-hmm. Australia has a highly advanced cotton industry, and I know that's historically been a significant sector here, and your government is seeking to revive that. And Australia has world-leading technology in that area and expertise that we can certainly share with you.
Is there anything at this moment, like negotiations taking place in agricultural sector as well as in the cotton area you mentioned?
Sure. Well, in agriculture, there is during the recent business delegation, there was some contacts, including on selling Australian wine into the market here, which wine, of course, is a agricultural product. During my initial meetings here a month ago, I did speak to senior members of your government about Australia's capabilities in various agricultural sectors, and I meant in cotton as one of them. I did talk to your government about that, and during this visit this week we'll be having further discussions, including providing some information on experts in that area in Australia, contacts, and some publications on what we do and how we can help.
From the Australian side, do you have any interest in the local products, let's say cotton, to re-export, to set up the plans for the reproduction, or as we mentioned, wine? Azerbaijan is a producer of wine too, so do you see any exchange in this product between the sides?
I think there are certainly opportunities for more Azerbaijan products to enter the Australian market, and that requires, I think, good marketing from your producers. And similarly, for more Australian products to enter the market here, there needs to be more awareness. And I think this business delegation that you mentioned that just happened a month or so ago was very important in that regard, because it highlighted to some of our business people the opportunities in this market. And there needs to be more of those sorts of visits both ways, so we can become familiar with the opportunities and what the potential areas of collaboration are.
The turnover between our sides, between our countries, is $3.7 million. It is not reflecting the potential of two sides. How fast and to what level it could be risen, in your opinion?
Well, it is a small figure, and it's not, nowhere near reaching the potential. And that's why it's a priority for myself and my embassy to try and grow help facilitate growth in trade and investment.
Mr. Ambassador, I'd like to come closer to the topic you just mentioned, sea transportation. From one side, Australia deploys a seaport network. From another side, Azerbaijan has the biggest port in the Caspian Sea. What kind of collaboration do you see in this field?
Sure. Well, Australia, as you point out, is a maritime nation. We're an island, a big island, biggest island in the world, so we're been forced to develop our maritime transport capabilities. We have a number of shipbuilders who build a range of vessels, and we have sold two already to Caspian Marine Services here for use in the oil and gas industry. And there's potential for more of that. There's actually, as I understand it, there's negotiations currently underway for Australian interest to sell a third vessel to Azerbaijan for use in transporting passengers and goods to the oil and gas fields off the coast here. So certainly there is more potential there. Australia has a niche capability there. We have two shipbuilders who build these sorts of vessels, and they're very high quality, and hopefully there'll be more sales in future. Great,
and it's one side, oil and gas field, which is mainly supported our turnover. But in terms of sea transportation and development of that field between two sides, in terms of Azerbaijan is deploying at this moment free trade zone, and as you know, we just recently started to launch the BAKU-TBILISI-KARS Railroad. So do you see any potential of cooperation in this particular field?
Well, there might be particular opportunities, as there have been in the past, and there's an Australian company, Worley Parsons, which is a major global engineering company, which is helping construct the TANAP gas pipeline, as an example. So there are certainly opportunities. The railway, BAKU-TBILISI-KARS Railway that just opened last month, has the potential to be a pivotal kind of piece of infrastructure that will lead to greater economic cooperation between all countries in the region. And that will inevitably, if there's more transport, there's more commerce, and inevitably that will present some opportunities. But as I said, there already is some Australian involvement in helping Azerbaijan and Turkey with these major regional projects, and we hope there'll be further cooperation in future.
How far is Azerbaijan interesting for Australian businessmen in terms of investments?
Well, it's true, I think, that at this stage Azerbaijan is a relatively unknown market in Australia. However, there is interest. There were over 20 businesses on the recent business delegation that came here. So as a result of that mission, I'm sure that will facilitate even more interest. In terms of the business environment, I think it's up to, in every location, it's up to new investors to look at relevant laws and regulations and look at profitability of projects and so forth, and that's the same anywhere. But there are certainly business opportunities here in Azerbaijan for Australian companies. So we're confident that delegation will lead to some concrete outcomes, but for some of them it was just a fact-finding mission. They'd never been here, they didn't know what it was like. I think that, as I understand it, they were very surprised by what they found, so in a positive sense. So I'm sure there'll be more visits in the future.
Azerbaijan is putting a lot of efforts at this moment for non-oil sector, yes. And as every country we're interested to export. What three major things would be interesting for Australians?
Sure. Well, I think, as I said, I think in agriculture we have capabilities, in mining, and even in tourism. We have expertise in the tourism sector, both in terms of developing experiences and resorts, and also in terms of marketing. And I think there are significant tourism potential in Azerbaijan, but I think you will need to, over time, help market that better to the world, so that what you have here is more widely understood and widely known.
Tourism. How Azerbaijan, so far, you see, is interesting for Australians as a new touristic destination?
Well, Australians are always looking for new experiences. We're quite adventurous, and that's part of our culture. Young Australians travel widely, and even older Australians do as well. So I think there are lots of things in Azerbaijan. There's the rich ancient culture of the old town and other parts of the country, which my wife, for example, was enjoying very much yesterday. But you also have adventure tourism. You know, you have wonderful mountains and scenery, and I think that would be of great interest to Australian tourists if they knew about it. I have myself, on an earlier visit, driven through southern Azerbaijan from the Iranian border, and I must say it was extremely beautiful, and you know, that sort of scenery would be of considerable interest to Australian tourists.
What kind of work could be done at this moment to close our countries in terms of tourism despite of great distance? I would say visa facilitation, visa issues, or airlines cooperation.
Well, on visa issues, both countries have an electronic visa online system, which is quite efficient, and that's a new development, so that's helpful. We're talking about, there's been some discussion about renewing an air services agreement between the two countries, and those discussions will continue. But I think in terms of tourism, I think the biggest thing is marketing. I think in terms of expanding the awareness of what you have to offer here, you need to have an enhanced marketing campaign in markets like Australia so that people do know what you have. Otherwise, it's a fairly unknown part of the world, and as you need to overcome distance with an awareness campaign, and that's what my recommendation would be.
Referring to the air cooperation, Azerbaijan has actual talking about the air cooperation between European Union, as well as we already started to cooperate with the United States of America in these terms. Is it kind of the same cooperation and agreement two sides are reviewing at this moment?
In the past, we've talked about things such as code sharing codes for airlines with ticket bookings and so forth, which can be helpful in facilitating through travel. So that's what we've discussed in the past. You know, obviously as tourist potential grows, there'll be more of an impetus for greater aviation links.
Mr. Ambassador, thank you for your time, you sharing with us, and for interesting interview.
Thank you very much, my pleasure.
We spoke with Ambassador of Australia to Azerbaijan on the development of cooperation between two countries. Goodbye.